Hello and welcome to the Bronx Movie Club. I am your host, Justin McCullough. This week we have the new releases for this weekend, as well as the movie news, and I will also be reviewing Netflix's romantic comedy, Always Be My Maybe, and give my thoughts on the Toy Story trilogy in preparation for the premiere of Toy Story 4, which comes out on June 21st. Enjoy the show. Here are the movie releases for this weekend, starting June 14th. Men in Black International stars Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson. They team up again after 2017's Thor Ragnarok. This is going to be the fourth film in the franchise where the Men in Black face their biggest threat, a mole in the MIB organization. This film is directed by F. Gary Gray, who also is known for directing Friday, Straight Outta Compton, and The Fate of the Furious, as well as the upcoming live-action version of Mask.
Thought that we were here.
We are. Step on it, would you, Freddy? You go to H.
What happened here?
What do you think happened? We got our asses kicked.
Sorry.
Wait, are you a queen?
Indeed, she is.
I pledge loyalty eternal to you.
No, I'm not interested.
Too late. I already pledged the loyalty. I wish you'd said no before.
Late Night stars Mindy Kaling and Emma Thompson. It's going to be released wide this weekend after playing in limited release last week. After 30 years, a late-night talk show host played by Emma Thompson seeks to hire her first female staff writer, a chemical plant expert played by Mindy Kaling, who also wrote and produced the film. Thompson's character seeks to just make a diversity hire in an attempt to bring her ratings back up. Kaling's character, on the other hand, looks up to her and works to make the show better despite what her male co-writers and the actual host want to do. This trailer looks alright. This is Kaling's first written and produced full-length feature film, so I gotta go out and support it. Shaft stars Richard Roundtree as John Shaft, Samuel L. Jackson as John Shaft II, and Jesse T. Usher as John Shaft Jr. Usher plays an FBI cybersecurity expert who joins up with his legendary father to scour the streets of Harlem looking for the one who may have killed his best friend. This movie is directed by Tim Story, who also is known for directing Ride Along, 1, 2, and 3, which is coming out soon. He also directed the first two Fantastic Four movies. And he also has a live-action version of Tom and Jerry coming up soon. The Dead Don't Die stars Adam Driver and Bill Murray. The small town of Centerville is experiencing some weird goings-on, worst of which being their zombie problem. Murray and Driver play police officers looking to save themselves and the town from the dead who refuse to stay that way. This film is written and directed by Jim Jarmusch, who is also known for Down by Law, Ghost Dog, and Only Loved Ones Left Alive. He also currently has Ghost Dog Part 2 in development with Forrest Whitaker and the RZA already set to star in it. Murder Mystery will be released to Netflix this weekend. It's an action comedy starring Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston. The two play an NYPD officer and his wife who go on a European vacation where they get entangled in the murder of an elderly billionaire. The film is written by James Vanderbilt, who is probably best known for writing both of the Amazing Spider-Man movies, as well as White House Down and Independence Day Resurgence, so he's to blame for that movie. Vault stars Theo Rossi, Clive Standen, and the Bronx's own Chaz Palminteri. It's about a group of small-time criminals who tried to steal over $30 million from the mafia during a 1975 heist in Rhode Island. This film is directed by Tom DeNucci, who directed such classics as Saving Christmas and Arlo the Burping Pig. These are the movies that are going to be released in theaters on June 21st. Child's Play stars Mark Hamill as Chucky and Gabriel Bateman as Andy. It is directed by Lars Kluberg, whose only other feature film is Polaroid, which is also going to be released this year. This is a remake of the 1988 Child's Play about a popular doll that is possessed by the soul of a serial killer. In the new version, however, Chucky is a computerized doll whose artificial intelligence goes haywire and makes the doll want to kill people. Toy Story 4 stars Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Keanu Reeves, and Christina Hendricks. It is directed by Josh Cooley. It's Josh Cooley's first feature-length theatrical release, but he is known for his work on other Pixar productions such as Inside Out. When a new toy named Forky joins Woody and the gang, a road trip alongside old and new friends reveals just how big the world can be for a toy. This weekend of the 21st will feature 2 movies about toys owned by a kid named Andy. Now, you don't have to be a box office guru to tell that way more people are going to be watching Toy Story 4. But the marketing folks over at Child's Play have been using this shared release date to make some pretty cool and messed up posters. Chucky kills off Buzz, Woody, and Slinky in possibly the funniest promotions for a horror movie yet. This weekend, we also have a documentary about a beloved black writer. Toni Morrison, The Pieces I Am, is a documentary by Timothy Greenfield Sanders and will examine her life, her works, and the powerful themes she has confronted throughout her literary career.
We are neighbors and best friends.
We all have different religions, but we have universal love as well.
Here are some of the movie and TV news as of June 13th. The DC Universe officially released its first episode of Swamp Thing on their streaming app on Friday, May 31st. And the show has been officially canceled a week later. It was reported on June 6th that Swamp Thing will be canceled after its first season, which has already been cut from 13 episodes to just 10 episodes during the filming of the show. The reason for the show being canceled isn't really known. The The fact that DC couldn't wait till the season was over to announce this tells me that they probably didn't have a bunch of confidence with that show to begin with. But other reasons, such as the DC universe being absorbed into Warner Brothers' own streaming service, or an issue with tax breaks provided by the state of North Carolina where the show was filmed, have also been bounced around the internet as possible reasons. The first season cost roughly $85 million to make, so it makes sense that the $12 million in tax breaks that North Carolina was coughing up weren't worth the expense. I still want to see the show, but this kind of drama doesn't make me feel too eager to shell out my money to sign up for the DC universe anytime soon. The show is about a CDC investigator, Abby Arcane, who discovers the Louisiana swamp may hold the secrets to a local epidemic after her partner dies and transforms into the Swamp Thing. We finally have a new release date and a trailer for the upcoming 20th Century Fox film Ad Astra. A month ago, Disney, who bought up 20th Century Fox, released their release date schedule for well into 2027, which includes all of 20th Century Fox's release schedule. This is where we learned Ad Astra's new release date of September 20th. We have heard this story before though. It was originally supposed to be released in January 11th of this year, and then it got moved to May 24th of this year. Both times we got no news, no trailers, or anything as to the status of the film. I myself has written on my letterbox that Ad Astra may be released to Hulu instead of theaters, since Disney also controls that streaming service. Disney must have heard our misgivings, since they released a trailer for the film on June 5th. The film stars Brad Pitt, Tommy Lee Jones, Ruth Negga, and Liv Tyler, who once again gets to talk to people in space through a television set. By the way, that was an Armageddon reference. Brad Pitt plays an astronaut who goes into space looking for his father, played by Tommy Lee Jones, who left decades earlier on a classified space mission in search of intelligent life. The trailer looks great. It actually looks kind of like Apocalypse Now set in space, and I look forward to seeing how it plays out. Usually, movie studios, especially studios that have big blockbuster productions coming up, will have promotional panels at San Diego Comic-Con in an area known as Hall H. It is the largest space available in San Diego Comic-Con and holds promotional events that fans and the press fight over for access. Not only do people notice when studios hold events and panels in Hall H, they notice when studios don't do it either. This last year, Marvel Studios didn't attend San Diego Comic-Con and had nothing going on in Hall H at all. This year, it's DC's turn. DC films will not have a presence in Hall H at this year's San Diego Comic-Con, despite having a big DC movie coming out next year, which is Wonder Woman 1984, which is a sequel to 2017's film. Not too long after this news dropped, director Patty Jenkins released a brand new teaser poster for WW84, featuring a brand new armor for Gal Gadot's character, standing in a funky multicolored WW design. The poster is whetting a lot of appetites of fans who will have to sit and wait an entire year for Wonder Woman to return to the big screen, and possibly another 8 months before we see a teaser trailer. Chadwick Boseman is set to produce and star in a film about the real-life story of the first and only non-Asian samurai. Yasuke was an African slave from Mozambique who arrived in Japan in 1549 in the service of an Italian Jesuit missionary. Yasuke served as a retainer of daimyo Oda Nobunaga until his death in 1582. The film is currently in development and is being written by Doug Miro, who is known for Narcos, and Gregory Wyden, who is known for Backdraft Part 2.
Patriotism. There's a word thrown around a lot. It inspires passionate debate and is worn like a badge of honor, and with good reason. Because it means love and devotion for one's country. Love. For a word designed to unite, it can also be pretty divisive. You see, there's more to patriotism than flag sequin onesies and rodeos and quadruple cheeseburgers. Patriotism is love for a country, not just pride in it. But what really makes up this country of ours? What is it we love? It's more than just a huge rock full of animals like cougars and eagles, right? It's the people. Do me a favor. Close your eyes for a second. I want to try something out. Picture the average U.S. citizen. Think about it. How old are they? What's their hair like? How much can they bench? You got one? Okay, so chances are the person you're picturing right now looks a little different to the real average American. There are 319 million US citizens. 51% are female. So first off, the average American is a woman. Cool, huh? Is that what you pictured? 54 million are Latino, 40 million senior citizens, 27 million are disabled, 18 million are Asian. That's more people in the US than play football and baseball combined. 9 million are lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, more than the entire amount of people that live in the state of Virginia. Around 10 million are redhead, 5.1 million play ultimate frisbee, and 3.5 million are Muslim. Triple the number of people currently serving in the United States military. Almost half the country belongs to minority groups. People who are lesbian, African American, and bi, and transgender, and Native American, and proud of it. We know that labels don't devalue us, they help define us, keeping us dialed into our cultures and our beliefs and who we are as Americans. After all, what's more American than freedom to celebrate the things that make us, us? I mean, it's stitched into the stars and stripes of this country, from the Constitution to Gettysburg, to our motto, E pluribus unum, from many, one. It's even in our country's name, the United States. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, disability, sexuality, race, religion, and any other labels. Because the second any of us judge people based on those labels, we're not really being patriotic, are we? So let's try this one more time. Close your eyes. Picture the average Joe or Joan or Juan or Jean-Luc. The real people who make America, America. And this year, whenever you feel the urge to don those star-spangled shorts, set off fireworks the size of my biceps to show love for our country, remember that to love America is to love all Americans. Because love has no labels.
Tell her how you feel, son.
I have some news.
So do I.
It's big.
Mine's big too. Okay, look,
Okay, I want to go first. I met someone.
wow, that's so great.
We had the most insane, freaky ass sex.
I can't even talk about it, otherwise
Yeah,
something
let's
might
stop talking
happen.
about it.
The other day, I got a chance to see Netflix's new romantic comedy, Always Be My Maybe, starring Ali Wong and Randall Park, and directed by Nahnatchka Khan. The film is about two best friends who grew apart after they awkwardly lose their virginity to each other right before graduating high school. She goes off to become a world-famous chef, and he sticks around in San Francisco to take care of his father and stay stagnant with his band. They meet again years later when Wong's character returns to San Francisco to open up a restaurant in the city, and the story then resolves itself to get the two back together again. I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of romantic comedies. They tend to follow the same routines, the same tropes, with the only difference being the actors and the characters' names and the jobs the characters have. Even though the story doesn't really rely on it, the fact that there are very few white people in this movie is a refreshing take from the typical romantic comedy. The amount of people of color in front of and behind the camera gives this story that has already been told way too many times a new feel. Now, let's get to Keanu. Keanu Reeves plays himself in this film as a love interest for Wong's character, and he is hilarious in his role. Even though his part in the movie is relatively short, it brought the biggest laughs, to me anyway, and made the music for the end credits funnier than the actual song. Vivian Bang, who plays Park's girlfriend Jenny, is funny even though she plays like an airheaded hipster type. I'm still wondering how she got those dreads in her hair. Wong and Park have chemistry, and I buy that they would be in some sort of relationship together. The two of them co-wrote the film, so that kind of played part in it also. I recommend it. I give it 4 stars. I have no real problem with it, and it's a great date movie. It's a new way to tell an old story. Toy Story 4 will be released in theaters on June 21st. I am one of the few people on the planet who hasn't seen any of the Toy Story movies. That is, until this past week. I finally saw Toy Story 1 through 3 in preparation for Part 4, and I figured I would give you my thoughts on them a couple of decades too late. The Toy Story trilogy was co-written by former Chief Creative Officer of Pixar, John Lasseter, who also directed the first 2 Toy Story films. The 3 films go along a certain story arc. The first Toy Story is about how a boy's favorite toy lives with the dread of being forgotten about when a new toy comes along and takes his place as favorite. While Woody lives in fear of being replaced as a favorite toy, Buzz Lightyear doesn't even realize he is a toy and eventually comes to his own existential crisis when he finds out who and what he really is and what his place in the world is. The second Toy Story centers on Woody, who is stolen by a toy dealer and finds out who he really is. A priceless old toy who can earn big bucks in the open market. The film deals with what happens when a toy isn't wanted anymore and what new purpose it can serve. Woody finds that he is a much-loved character and feels that he can be loved by millions of children by being placed in a museum, even though he still has his loyalty to Andy. Finally, in the third film, this is where Woody and friends realize that they won't be as much as a value to Andy because Woody had to accept that Andy had to reach a new milestone in life. This is something that he's been warned about in Part 2. They seek a new purpose as toys in a daycare where they can be played with and enjoyed by children who will never be too old. I have been warned by multiple people that this movie would be very emotional, and I gotta admit that I got a little something in my eye at the end of Toy Story 3, where Andy played with his toys one last time before driving off to college. Just saying that last sentence kind of brings a little thing to my eye, because there's all this dust in the room, all this stuff getting in my eye. There have been stories quoting Tom Hanks and Tim Allen as how emotional the ending of Toy Story 4 will be, and I guess I need to get ready for that.
Welcome, welcome. This is Brother Andrew Sargent from the Sargent Experience, and you can tune in on Saturdays at 9 a.m. where you see a wonderful show where I talk about mentorship and your journey, your faith base. Thank you for tuning in, and have a good day.
What a burn? That sort of thing could get a man fired. I think he was hot for you.
That's enough.
All-important first attack wave, which we will call Operation Human Shield.
Hey, wait a minute!
Now keep in mind, Operation Human Shield will suffer heavy losses. Battalion 14... Right, you are Operation Hidden Behind the Darkies. You will follow Battalion 5 and try not to get killed, Darkies.
Alright, pop quiz. Airport. Gunman with one hostage. He's using her for cover. He's almost to a plane. You're 100 feet away.
What do you think? Shoot the hostage.
What?
Go for the good wound and he can't get to the plane with her. Clear shot.
You're deeply nuts, you know that.
You crazy?
Oh. Just marking my territory.
We got 5 new murders. What is there about a full moon?
What's he mumbling? Truth. Truth, like a blanket that always leaves your feet cold.
Don't kill me, man! Don't kill me! Don't kill me, man!
I'm not going to kill you. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
Gold chain wearing, fried chicken, biscuit eating, monkey, big baboon, big guy, fast running, high jumping, speed chucking, 360-degree, basketball dunking, pitsoon, spade, Moulignan. Thank you. Pizza, and go back to Africa.
It's right here, Ray. It's looking at me.
He's an ugly little spud, isn't he?
I think he can hear you, Ray.
Don't move. It won't hurt you.
Let's start things off with a bang! Thank you, sir. Waka, 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 waka.
This guy's lost. Maybe you should try Hare Krishna. It's a running gag.
Whatever it is,
If this one doesn't scare you, you're already dead.
It's that simple.
Yeah, that's what I try to tell my old lady. She sent my ass down to the welfare office again, and those creeps started to hit on me about my receiving public assistance for over a year, see? And here was my last... You okay?
Yeah.
It's my last check, you know.
Go home, Jake. I'm doing you a favor.
forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown.
I'm played out, Quincy. I gotta have a doctor. I'll tell what I know. Oh, Lord, oh, God, I'm dying. Help me.
Thanks for watching the Bronx Movie Club. Please let me know what you think. I am on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Stardust, I'm on Litterbots, and I'm on YouTube. For those who are still a little bit old school, you can also email me and tell me what you think of my show and what other ideas I can be talking about here. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you all at the movies.